And we're back and ready to rip here on the Imperative MX podcast, episode number 5. And man, we are glad to be back for another week, bringing you all of the local motocross action from North Carolina, Virginia, and the surrounding states. Thank you so much for joining us this week. I am your host, Zach Newberry, and we would like to thank each and every person that has been enjoying these first couple of episodes already, and the great positive feedback from these already has been very humbling. If you have not checked out those other episodes, do yourself a favor and check them out on YouTube or Spotify. It is really cool to see the support from the local community in the sport of motocross. We have a lot to talk about when it comes to local racing, all the way to professional, and everything in between. There are a good amount of talking points to chat about in this episode number 5 of the Imperative MX podcast, and I really cannot wait to get into it. We have the Silver Valley MX Park AB $20,000 race from this weekend, and that will pretty much be a majority of this pod, since both myself and co-host Heavy D, who we will bring in here in a second. But yeah, we were there all weekend, and it was a good one, so we'll get into that. We have the local legend segment, and we've kind of changed it around a little bit, but that will be really good to get into. We will be answering your social media questions put in from earlier this week, and also we have some professional Paris Supercross talk that's going on this weekend, and so much more that we get into. So make sure to check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and our popular TikTok channel that just hit 23,000 followers as of about 20 or 30 minutes ago. So that's cool. So make sure to check out all of those channels and social media accounts. It's greatly appreciated. All of those links will be down in the description below. This is going to be, like I said, a whole lot of fun here on episode number 5 of the Imperative MX podcast, especially when it comes to this past weekend. But before we go any further, we have to say thank you to all of our sponsors that are on board here on the Imperative MX podcast. West Virginia Motorsports, FXR, Silver Valley MX Park, Hydropower, and Dirt Industries Custom Graphics. Support the ones that support the sport, like these companies helping us with this podcast each and every week to bring you these. So we will get into these companies more here in a little bit. But first, helping me break down all of the talking points for tonight's podcast, the highly likable, hilarious, knowledgeable, your District 29 2011 C-Class champion, and now a proud father to a beautiful little girl, Heavy D.
What is going on?
What is going on? I see that pep in your step for the new one that has just arrived. So, and you are, tell us where you're at, Heavy D.
Dude, we are at the Catawba Valley Medical Center right now. I'm in the hospital room with my lady and the little one, and we're chilling. It has been a crazy past 48 hours, needless to say.
Yeah, absolutely. We planned on, today is Thursday, we planned on doing the podcast on Tuesday, and because, you know, a new life was born into this earth, we moved it right along. But regardless of the fact, man, I'm stoked for you. And how does it feel, man?
Dude, it's an unreal feeling. Like, it's so unreal. You never know you could love something so much, man. It's crazy. Like, it's going to sound a little out there, but I'm even more thankful for she waited until after the race this past weekend to come.
Yeah, because it was one of the first things that we talked about on Thursday at the Silver Valley MX Park in Lexington, North Carolina, for the $20,000 Open AB All-Star Shootout. And, Heavy D, you were saying, man, I hope she holds out, and sure enough, she did, all the way until Tuesday. So, got to give her some props for that.
Oh, yeah, man, I couldn't. For her, it wouldn't have been possible without the little one and my lady. So, I mean, she was supposed to be here next Friday, but I guess she got tired of being in there. She was kicked the oven door down and said it's time to get up out of here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's time to walk up on out of here and show my face. So, no, man, that's really cool, and it's awesome that you are here on the Imperative MX podcast while you're in the hospital. So this one will be a good talking point, I'm sure, for quite a while. So, but first, I mean, the first thing we got to get into, Heavy D, is the Silver Valley MX Park. Like I said, big race from this weekend. And I was there from Wednesday afternoon as soon as I got off work, my real job, unfortunately. I drove straight there and got some teaser videos and took some nice photos and started posting them around. And you got there on Thursday and started doing some track work. And that's kind of where our journey on the weekend kind of started, Heavy D. Man, when I pulled up through the gate on Wednesday, man, I just got that, that butterflies almost in your stomach. Like, I know I'm not racing, right? I brought my bike and I rode on Friday for practice, but man, it was crazy feeling going through those gates and knew exactly what was going to happen on Saturday.
Oh, it was unreal, man. Like, when I showed up, I instantly, like, I got chills and I got the shakes. Like, I can't wait. Like, you just knew how awesome it was about to be. And, dude, it did not disappoint by any means. It was unreal. I mean, if you were there, like, the feeling is so beyond undescribable.
Yeah, it was just one of those feelings that when you went there and you saw the track and you could just see it in the dirt, the jumps, just the atmosphere. You can just feel that it was going to be a good weekend of racing and nonstop fun, and that's exactly what it was. And when I finally saw you on Thursday, you were already on the dozer, packing in some nice booters, nice big jumps, and going through all of the lanes, getting it all dozered and worked in like you do. And man, it's cool. Obviously, for me, we've never actually met in person until this weekend. But like what we said on the very first episode of this Imperative MX podcast, that we knew that this was going to happen as soon as that me and you got together. And it was just going to be like we've known each other for years, So that was a really cool feeling, especially that we're the exact same, even though that we do a majority of our talking either on the podcast or over text messages and stuff like that. So,
100%. It's wild, man. It's like over the years, like we've been around each other racing so much, but we've actually never hung out.
Yep.
Or like really, like you say, spoken until like now we've been in person with each other, and it was so sick. Like two guys that just love moto, and we're there and enjoying every minute of it. Like it felt like I was at my first ever pro national again. It wasn't even that pro national, but still, the feeling was so surreal, man.
Heavy D, it is the local national.
There we go. The local national.
It is the capitalize that is the local national. But yeah, dude, I mean, on Thursday it was man, we knew it was going to be such a good weekend, and especially the vibes that you, myself, Camille, she did a fantastic job with running everything, and all of the guys that do all of the track work, from the water guys to the people on the dozers, including yourself and all of the track personnel. It was a phenomenal weekend from that side of things as well, Heavy D.
Oh, absolutely. And man, like for me, I think that's what made it so awesome. Like how well everybody worked together. Like, don't get me, it was a team effort. Like from jump. And honestly, I feel like it stems from like Mr. Thad and his business standpoint on things and the relationships he's built around that community and with his business and along with his family. Like you seen like everybody, like they, like he says, like he's like, hey, we got to do this. Everybody is on it.
Yeah.
And man, like you say, from the water guys to whatever, like it was one hell of a team effort, and it showed. It was like unreal. Like, where do we even begin once we start to get heavily into it, you know?
Yeah. You know, one of the things that was really, really cool was that, like you said, everybody came together and worked together. And if there was a problem, it seemed like everybody kind of got in a group and really, really focused down and buckled, buckled down to get to a resolution or, to fix the issue. So, no, it was really, really good on that side. And I got to see firsthand how much behind the scenes work was done for this event. And just from the time that I was there on Wednesday afternoon all the way until the very, very last moto, that we all watched. So, no, it was cool. And one of the coolest things was that a lot of the, some really top guys came out for this, pro shootout or AB shootout, and Rod Bell came out on top. He's the local national champ, man. He's so good, dude. He's it's unreal.
Man, you want to know, and I know we talked about it, but think about how mind-boggling this is. Okay. Rod Bell, he races all the outdoor nationals, and I think he's gotten close to top 10. I think his best finish may have been a 12th or 13th. I could be wrong. I could be jipping him out of a place.
Yep.
Or two. But my guy was out there just ripping, son. And what makes it so bad, he had Brandon Shaw, Preston Kilroy, Freddie Noren,
Henry Miller.
Golly, I mean, Trevin Nelson, Patrick Murphy, Austin Capricornitis, like all
Mason
these
Simmons. I mean,
Jamal
dude,
Porter, like the list goes on.
There was 32 guys that showed up. I mean, Rush Chapman and man, there's so many guys. I'm trying to think of all the guys that I took for pictures. And Freddie Noren. I don't know if you said that or not, but yeah, dude, it was stacked.
Oh, dude, and if I'm not mistaken, Brandon Shaw and Freddie Noren have got like 6th and 7th this year in outdoors.
Yeah, I don't know about Brandon, but I definitely know Freddie. I know, dude, Freddie's been top 5 before, if I'm not mistaken. Like one of his first years outdoors. I mean, dude, he's gnarly. But it was really cool for Rod Bell to say every single time that he got on the mic, I'm pretty sure, that he was like, this place needs to be a national. This place needs to be a pro national.
It honestly it does. If you got all these other tracks that don't even compare to Silver, and I'm not even saying that because it's a favorite track. It is literally that caliber of a track, man. Like, I don't see how you could not, want to send some of these up and coming guys out there to race that. I really don't. Like, and don't get me wrong. Like I say, I always say it. It's my, we always say we have our personal opinions on this podcast, and I'm not firing shots at AMA or anything. But if you really want to test these kids, cut that bullshit Moto Combine out and take them to Silver Valley, because that Moto Combine is a bunch of crap. I'm not firing shots at them, but it is a bunch of crap. That it is the reason, in my opinion, the industry is where it is today. You got guys out here like Rod Bell and them that are gnarly. If you want to see how these kids are going to do, come out there and bring them to the pro shootout and see if they beat those dudes on that gnarly of a track. And then we can see where they stand.
Yeah, and Rod Bell was not the only person to tell me that was the gnarliest track they've ever rode in their life. I had Brandon Shaw, myself and Nicole, the girlfriend, we went over there, and I was talking to the pros at the end of the day, telling them thank you for coming. It was awesome to see them there. I hope to see them, in the future and all that good stuff. All of them were super cool. Kilroy, Neese, Miller. We went to Brandon Shores and talked to him for like 20 minutes, and dude, they all said that this was the gnarliest track they've ever rode in their life. And
Oh,
dude, I mean, and it's crazy to hear from each and every one of them say that. And it's like, dude, we have something here in Lexington, North Carolina, and something needs to be done for sure.
oh, dude, it's definitely something there. I mean, you think we cut the track. We took some sections out, and it was still like 2 minutes and 25 seconds.
Yeah, you looked more at the lap times than I did, because I was out there doing media and all of that good stuff. And by the way, if you guys are listening and have not checked out the photo gallery or our Instagram feed or TikTok or any of the social medias from this past weekend, do yourselves a favor. There's a lot of good rut footage from the pro guys going through the ruts, showing the body movements, and pretty much it's pick a rut and you're in that rut. You're not getting out of it. So pretty much pick the rut and hold her wide. So it was crazy. For me, myself, I rode on Friday. We talked about this, Heavy D, that I was 30 minutes outside of the house coming down. And I Snapchatted you a photo, and I only had the pit bike in the back. And you sent that one question of, "You're not riding?" And I thought about it for like the next 5 miles, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to regret it so hard as long as, if I just don't ride it. So I trekked the 30 minutes back to the house and got it, and I took it and rode it on Friday. And Heavy D, after however many years I've been riding, since the dinosaur age, I have a new favorite track, Heavy D. It is no longer Pro Sport in Wytheville, Virginia. It is now Silver Valley MX Park, and that is you stamp it. It's my favorite track, man. It's too much fun. Moto, I love a challenge. Okay, yes, I'm very competitive and all that. I know that I'm getting older, so I can't give myself too hard of a time when I don't go out there and do well or perform my best, right? Because most of the time, like we say, I'm off the couch. So, I like the challenge of a moto track, and I like the jumps. I like the speed. It flows very good. The dirt is awesome. It's the tackiest dirt. A lot of those pro guys that I was telling you that we spoke about that said that it was the gnarliest track, but they also said that it was the tackiest track that they've ever rode before. You can literally pull out of a rut if you want to, and your tire won't slide because it's going to have traction. I have, not very good, in my opinion, Bridgestone tires from when I bought my Suzuki brand new, and those things stick no matter what, and it's because of the dirt and all, and it wasn't just me that thought that. So, man, that track is gnarly. I have my new favorite track now. Man, that place is so cool. And if you you guys listening out there, if you have not been to Silver Valley or have not gone to this event, you need to make sure that you mark on your calendars for next year to make it out there and check this out, because it was insane and almost undescribable, as you can tell from just kind of our thoughts and opinions on it, because it's like, dude, I don't know really what else to say, man. It's the gnarliest, tackiest track anybody has ever rode before. Like the Glen Helen. I'm not trying to compare here, but you want a good vet track also, because this track is good because it has big jumps, right? But it's not a fast track, because you have to be so precise on the lines that you pick, and you almost have to be very cautious, right? So it's like, yes, you have those small, fast little sections, like right there where the start is, and also, to do these big jumps. But I would say probably maybe 70% of the track, you're kind of in that, which rut do I pick? Hey, I want to be real good and balanced in these ruts. I want to pick good lines to go through these corners and stuff like that. And the other 30% is the jump sections and the fast sections. Would you agree?
Oh, I agree 100%. And see, dude, that's my thing about that track. It's it's so challenging, but I know if you paid attention, look how many. I watched a lot of kids out there, dude. Look how many kids elevated over the weekend from riding that track because not only you got to pay attention, but you can't go fast or do obstacles if you're not comfortable. So you can't ride a track like that tight and tense. You got to loosen up. You got to free up your mind, free up your body, and figure out the flow. That's the challenge of it. And I feel like that's what makes riders better. And like I've said before, I want to see kids elevate. I'm not knocking any other track, but like the big jumps, the roughness, the gnarliness of it, that's what will help elevate the sport even more. And as you can tell, like even the big downhill, you see the kid on the 150 that was popping the downhill?
Yeah.
Never in a million years.
Dude.
Never.
If you guys go and check out my I guess this will be posted tomorrow, which will be Friday. So if you look through my TikTok feed, and actually on the Instagram, I posted it on the Instagram as well. The video of the Super Minis, Austin Webb and I forget it, Thompson, but it's not Mason, but it's the kid on the 150. I think that's
Nicholas Johnson.
Johnson, yes.
Yeah,
and then Mason Stamp.
Mason Stamp. There you go.
Yeah, I put that, and I put the raw footage on my TikTok because as soon as Austin comes over, because that was the first time that I sat there and watched the Super Minis. Like we parked down there on Saturday near the rhythm section, near the real long rhythm section there, and.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, when I was out there on the track after one of the pro races, I was like, I want to see these Super Minis hit this triple because I've been seeing them hit it, damn near all weekend. So I was like, man, I want to get it kind of up and personal, close and personal. And it's like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like,
yeah.
Oh my God, like my knees hurt just from watching that. Like that's such a hard hit. Like, and that's the only jump I didn't do because I'm trying to save my knees. which I think now if I would go back, because like you said, you have to find a flow on that track, and that's what separates good riders from great riders, in my opinion. Because you can take that, like Mason Simmons, for example, right? He's a woods racer, enduro racer, like. Right, moto is not his number one job, right? But dude, he did so well, and I guarantee it's because of the ruts. Because in the woods, you're gonna have a lot of ruts and also a lot of roots that you have to deal with, and all of these different factors that plays into riding and racing. And he can come out there and do really, really well because of the ruts and all of that, and not discrediting any of these other tracks. But when you have a rough track that you can go to that track and then you can go to other places and be comfortable, you can go to the woods, you can ride over some rocks, logs, whatever. Like I feel like that track right there will teach you the best for riding a dirt bike. And yeah, you just have to go to experience it. It's one of those things that you just have to go.
Oh, absolutely. Like, just watching those dudes try and dissect that track was unreal. And every part of the track was raceable. Like, they was using literally every part of the track, every split lane, off camber, all of it. I was like, man, like, we got a racetrack here today. Like, this is what I'm talking about. This is what people come to see right here.
And what was cool, too, is that a lot of the riders would come up to either you or myself if they had a problem with the track, and we would come to a conclusion. We would sit there. There was multiple times where myself and Heavy D sat there with a rider or a group of riders and would talk about a certain area of the track that we thought that we would, need to change or need to change to make either the racing better or the racing safer. And that was cool. And everything, just about everything that they said that we did, and it made it better. So
100%.
that was cool. So shout out to those guys for stepping up and coming to find us and talk to us about it and to make everything better and safer, because that's one of the main things that we want here from Imperative MX and from us personally, is for everybody to be safe and have the racing really good.
Absolutely. And I loved it. Like, dude, as a track builder and somebody like who loves working on them, I don't take like somebody's criticism to heart. I wanna be better. I want to make stuff better. If I did something wrong, tell me, dude. I'm not gonna take defense. What can I do to make it better? What can we do as a group to make it better? And dude, when they come up and said it, it made it better. Like I was like, hell yeah, like this is it.
Yeah.
Like we even like me, Thad, Joseph, and you and myself, we all had discussions about all kinds of stuff. Even when freaking David went skyrocket, like
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is a we.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about that. There was
I'm not trying to
two.
laugh.
No. There was two rocket launchers that were launched off the face of the second double there by the fence line, and no pun intended. But yeah, David was the one that overshot it, right?
Yeah, he overshot the first one.
Yep.
And then when he landed, it like blew his arm off.
Yep.
And I just want to know, you got to have like some serious concentration going on to think that fast, to know like, all right, I got to let go or this is going to get real ugly for me.
Yeah. East Coast Films on YouTube and also on Instagram has the drone footage of that. It is honestly almost breathtaking. It's crazy. You know exactly what's going to happen as soon as he overshoots. Both legs come off. You can see his throttle hand just full chicken wing, and that bike was going. And thank God that he said, "Nope, not today," and kind of went off to the side and landed on kind of the softer dirt onto the side. But you were right there, Heavy D, right at the hay bale flagging, and I have to ask you. What was going through your mind when this was all going down? Because I was in this practice, and there was one incident, the one incident that we're talking about with David, and then there was also another incident. So we gotta hear this story from your side, since you were right there firsthand.
Bro. Now when I'm sitting there and I look to my left and I see David hit this jump, the very first one. And my initial thought was like, damn, he's high. Like, he's real high. And then I didn't see anything. And all of a sudden I see his bike and I see him. I was like, I just killed David. I literally thought, I was like, I just killed David.
Oh, no.
And when he was like flying, so he hits the ground before the bike ever does, and he gets back up. So he gets right up and he's walking around, and like I start to go over there, and he just like throws his hand up. He was like, "Stop!" I was like, "Oh man!" I was like, "Dude, dude, what happened? Like, is it a kicker in the face?" Or he was like, "Nah, dude." He said it wasn't even. He said, "Dude, the jump's perfectly fine." Like he was like, "It was me." He was like, I put a fresh tire on. It was a lot of traction, and I just overshot it and I screwed up. And he was like super mad at himself because he was really wanting to race with those dudes, which I get it, because last year he killed it on a clap 250.
Right.
And he like got him a fresh 450. So I could see like, all right, he was really, really ready to mix it up with these dudes. But needless to say, like, if you like just standing there seeing that, like my mind went to racing, because you don't ever want to see it. I've seen some crazy stuff, we've all have, but when you build something, you don't want to get anybody hurt. You know what I mean? And that it like you say, it wasn't the jump, and it's crazy that, like I say, I got this theory: bikes are getting faster, so build a track to these bikes. It's a lot easier. I feel like you can get your mind right a little bit more in the air rather than going 100 miles an hour and getting launched out, because you can't think or stop then. You ain't I mean, it's over. It's over when it's over.
Right.
But he had some time to think, and it's crazy. Like, all right, how are these? It's crazy that these guys survive big shit like that. But the little stuff is what really jacks them up.
Yeah. I mean, when you step on a Lego, that shit hurts worse than going over the handlebars.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, or stubbing your toe. Yeah. Um, but man, it was honestly, like we said, it was unbelievable. The racing was good. Preston Kilroy was battling, and like what we said, the split lanes and everything was working because those two battled hard. Um, Brandon Shaw was in there for one moto that they were battling, but that one moto with Kilroy and Rodbell, I mean, they were inside, outside, inside, outside. And everything worked. So it's a raceable track as well.
Oh, absolutely. It was extremely raceable. All in all, the weekend, man, it was unreal. Like I said, we had some. It was some oh shit moments, but other than that, it was so sick.
Yeah.
Everybody loved it. The young kids loved it. I mean, dude, you seen the 50 kids? They was popping every jump out there.
Yeah. No, it was honestly unreal. And Saturday they had the cornhole tournament. They had the live music from Zach Heron, and honestly, that was the first time I ever met Zach as a person, and he is so cool, man. And he is so good on the microphone. He's good when he sings. He's good when he does announcing. We're going to get him on here at some point here on the Imperative MX podcast. But, yeah, man, he's good, man. And it was really cool for him to be out there and be doing it for the local motocross scene. And, yeah, he's a legend of his own.
Oh, dude, Zach is awesome, man. He's a hell of an announcer, hell of a guy. Like, super cool to talk to, chat with, hang out with. And man, his I was like watching his his show that night when I was on the dozer getting close, and bro, he was killing it. Like, he had the vibes going. He had people clapping. I was like, all right, my guy's a full on rock star right now.
Oh yeah, I mean with the lights and the good music, it was cool. We were sitting there, enjoying the good music and just being at the motocross track, man. There's absolutely nothing like it, and especially at that event, it was really really cool to see from the amount of work they got put in, the great racing all the way around, the phenomenal track. And yeah, everything. The best whip contest, Jed Dry ended up winning that. We'll talk about him here in a little bit, and y'all will see why. But yeah, no, the pit bike racing. Myself and Heavy D did not see either of them as far as like a spectator view. But regardless of the fact, there was always something going on that was really fun and really entertaining. And no, I'd like to thank Silver Valley MX Park for allowing myself and Imperative MX to come along and be a part of the second annual Open AB All-Star Shootout at Silver Valley. And no, it was cool, man. And it was awesome to see you as well. Yeah, just all around good, great racing, great fun. I'm trying to think really if I missed anything. I mean, there were so many moments where we talked and had good talks with people that we haven't talked to in a while. And some of the pros that were telling us some things. I got to talk to Kilroy's mechanic, Derek. He was really cool. Or Dakota. I'm sorry, Dakota. He was really cool to talk to. Got to talk to Brandon Hawes from Club MX for a while. Yeah, no, it was cool, man. It was a great weekend.
Oh, dude, it was top notch all around all weekend for sure. And I really, of course, give shout out to Thad and his whole family and that whole crew, because I mean, I just love, like, it's my favorite track, and to be able to work on it, and see those guys shred it, it's like, man, this is an unreal feeling. Like, I get to be a part of this badass event at the most badass track probably on the East Coast, and it's all for real. Like, getting to hang out with buddies, and us doing our doing the imperative thing, like it just didn't get no better. It was so sweet.
Yeah, absolutely. And Heavy D, your TikTok video that you took of the 50cc kid that jumped over the other 50cc kid is at 1.6 million views on the Imperative MX TikTok. That is
Damn, I am.
That is unreal. And that, you know what's crazy too is that I was down there downloading some photos that I was going to post after the first Open AB All-Star race. And the funny thing is that Heavy D came down there on was it a 110 or was it a 70?
It was a 110.
Okay, so I see Heavy D rolling down to the truck, and I'm like, man, he's got some pep in his step to be coming all the way down here. And so he was like, man, I got a viral video for you. I was like, what are you talking about? And he shows me, and at first, in the very first clip, it's just the scenery of the pits, in the track. And I'm like, oh yeah, man, that's nice, dude. And then at the end is like the 4 seconds of fame, the 1.6 million view part of, Heavy D is just getting, the panoramic view of everything, and then he just focuses on the little 50cc's, little children. They're all cute and cuddly. Nope. This kid sends it over the next kid, which is a brand new, almost like a brand new jumping technique or racing technique. So that was honestly unbelievable coming from you, Heavy D, and you were exactly right on the viral part.
Oh, dude, I just knew it was going to go viral. I was like, bro, you got to see this video of my little buddy Sam Valisi. Like, it is insane. And at first, I didn't even know it was him. I was just in shock. I was like, dude, these 50 kids are really sending it right now over these doubles.
Mm-hmm.
And I seen that, and me and Zach was standing there, and if you hear in the video, I was like, oh!
Yeah.
And it went right through the microphone, and we looked at each other, and I was like, I got that on video. They was like, no, you did not. I said, yes, I did.
You know how many times I've zoomed in on that video to see if the kid actually scraped his front, like his visor? Like, dude, I swear, I think there's got to be a little bit of a tire mark on there.
Oh, it has to be.
Unreal.
It has to be. And what's funny, like, people was like, oh, like, he shouldn't have jumped over him like that. But what people didn't realize was, so that kid he jumped over wasn't actually in the same line as Sam was. He was to the right. When he rolled the jump and he gassed it, he spun and went to the left.
Yeah.
So he wasn't in Sam's line of fire when that happened. He just went that way. Like, Sam actually had a clear track, but when he hit it, it was too late. So that kid was already there, so he was just fully committed.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, holy cow, that was honestly unbelievable. Yeah, like you said, it was viral, and it went viral, and no, it was cool all around. Like we said, good weekend. Anything else on Silver Valley, Heavy D, that we might have missed?
Shout out to hold on a second. I'm sorry.
He said, "Hold on a second."
Shout out to Jerry Johns. He was another one who yard sold it too and survived.
Oh yes, yeah. You got to see that one firsthand as well, Heavy D.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Here's what's not funny, because these ain't funny. Like, now it's like, all right, like, this is crazy, but Jerry's buddy Bryson, he was on the drone, and he wasn't intending to get David. He thought David was his buddy Jerry. So he literally had just popped out of the woods and caught David. Jerry comes around the next and then does that, crashes, and he gets him laid out on the track on drone footage because he finds him there.
Oh my gosh.
So he actually got confused. After he seen that was David, he went back and thought, okay, that's Jerry, but it wasn't Jerry. It was two separate ones that just so happened to happen on the same thing. And Jerry did the same thing that David did. And he literally landed right there at me. I was like, okay, this dude, he's out. But I ran on the track, and I like listen. I couldn't hear it first because it was bikes, but then I listened. I was like, he was snoring, so I was like, all right, buddy's good.
Yeah.
He's going to survive. He's going to survive.
He's breathing. He's good.
Yeah, he was snoring. I was like, all right, he's solid. But
Yeah,
but
no.
he got back up.
Yeah, dude, that was crazy. The first one was crazy. Like I said, I was out there on the track, so I didn't get to hear all of it until I came off the track. But when I came over the first time, I saw I saw David's bike over there, but I never saw him. And I'm like, okay. So then I come around the next lap, and they're waving the flags even harder, and I'm like, okay, like what in the world is going on? And finally, I come over that double, and that's where I see. Do you know what was the
Jerry.
kid? Jerry. Yeah, seeing Jerry right there, and I see you, and I'm like, oh God, that's not good. Like that is not good. And sure enough, he's semi okay now, I believe.
No, he was good. He was walking around like that evening.
Okay.
He was like, yeah, I'm going to give it another go, but he wasn't in like he was concussed tremendously.
Oh yeah, I mean yeah, that's probably what 2 stories, 3 stories up that you just fall straight to the ground. So, yeah, no, way to be strong to come back from that one because I know that one definitely had to hurt for sure.
Oh, insanely bad, and his foot just blew off, and he got hung on the throttle and just fully OJ'd it. I mean, I was like, okay, now he is really high in the air, and
yeah.
Like even the pros today was like, dude, if you actually like laid that face out, you could probably jump from there to that. I mean, I ain't trying to give anybody any ideas, but like I was like, all right, like it can be done. And then me and Thad talked about it because I was looking at the face, and it was just some miscalculation on my part when I was fixing that up. But luckily, like you said before, like we had the pros come in and we all talked about it, and we just laid that landing out a little more and chopped the top off that face, and dude, it was good from there on out. I mean, even the rest of the day that day, it was fine. It was just they messed up a little bit, but the next day, race day, it was prime that day.
Oh yeah, things happen and you learn, and that's exactly what we did, and we made it better for racing. And thank God nobody was seriously injured, and all of that good stuff. But yeah, that's just another reason that track is a monster, and it will come up and bite you anytime for sure. And man, it was crazy. It was I just love the track, dude. It's one of my favorite ones, like I said, and yeah, all around good vibes, good racing, good track, good facility, and yeah, no, I can't wait to go back next year for sure. I gotta go to a race, not especially for this one, yes, but I gotta do another one before that one just to go out there and race because I've never, one of the first weekends, or if not the very first weekend that they opened, a couple years ago, that was the first time that I went there. And the track went the opposite, it went that way, but they had like rollers there, and they had the triple down the hill and all of that, but it was nothing like it was right now. So it's crazy to see what they were back then and what they are now for sure. It's crazy, and the work that is done, and the everything that's brought in. I mean, there's so much that gets brought into that place to make it what it is, and it's unbelievable. And the amount of work definitely does not go unnoticed. Heavy D.
Oh, dude, it's unreal. The amount of effort that goes into that, and you can tell by the outcome. It's sick. Everybody loved it, and like you say, the pros say it needs to be a national there. Like I say, no shots fired. But if Muddy Creek can have a national, they can definitely have a national at the Valley.
Yeah, me and Nicole were actually talking about this the other day. The only thing is that a lot of those pine trees would have to be taken out on that other side because you would need to have the whole circle around the track. That's probably the only thing, just for viewing purposes and parking and all of that good stuff. But I believe that if they want to make it work, man, I'd be down there moving trees myself if I had to.
Oh, he can. Trust me, Big Fag can make it work. If you said, all right, we're giving you an outdoor national next year, he'd probably be like, okay, I'm on it. He would make it happen.
Oh, absolutely, and you know that it's gonna be done right. So that's really cool. But wrapping up the Silver Valley MX talk here on the Imperative MX podcast, brought to you by West Virginia Motorsports. And if you are looking for your next ride, look no further than my friends over at West Virginia Motorsports. Find your key to fun at West Virginia Motorsports if you are looking for a new or pre-owned motorcycle, dirt bike, ATV, UTV, whatever the case may be. Make sure to stop by. Don't forget to order your parts for your current bike through West Virginia Motorsports or alongside walking out the door with that new ride. And Heavy D, like I always say, make sure to grab your oil and your air filters on your way out, because those things are heavily needed. So make sure that you do that. Also, we got to thank the people down at FXR. From high performance snowrider gear to motocross wear, FXR has you covered. The continuing growth of FXR means more selection for you. Jackets, jerseys, pants, gloves, and snow gear, FXR has you covered in any form of racing. Go check them out for the best in sizing, fitting, and ventilation options, in my opinion, for motocross riding gear. And I rode with my FXR riding gear this past weekend at the Silver Valley MX Park AB All-Star Shootout, and no, it was great. It was awesome. Loved the colorways. The ventilation was great. It was hot. So, no, it was really good. So make sure to go to www.fxrracing.com. Find them on social media. And, yeah, thank you for their continuing support. And on this week's FXR Lit Kit Award here on the Imperative MX podcast for episode number 5 will be Austin Webb. Number 3, Kawasaki, rides the 85cc class. I believe it's 12 to 15 and super mini, if I believe Heavy D, but he had that orange and black with his Cowie, and man, it looked good out there.
Oh, dude, the combo was just flowing. It was flowing. And, you know, we were sitting there. We had been eyeing it out all weekend. And I was like, I think we had a few come around us and was like trying to show off a little bit of the FXR. And then you was like, bro, what do you think about this kid? I'm feeling it. And I said, I was like, all right. Like, I like how he's got the red helmet and then the orange splaying in with a little bit more red in the gear and the red boots. It just set it off with the green. It was a whole different style. I was loving it. I was digging it.
Oh, absolutely. We were down there watching the very last Pro Moto, down there in the very, I guess you would call that the very back of the track, or the very front of the track. I don't know. I would say maybe the back of the track. Anyways, regardless of the fact, we were back there watching and getting some footage of the last Pro Moto, and the 85s were next, or maybe the second one after that, and we were just sitting there just chatting and talking about the track and doing some moto bro down and all of that. And sure enough, he came by and I was taking some photos and I showed it right to Heavy D, and I'm like, bro, this kid right here, Austin Webb, he's the FXR Lit Kit Award for this week's episode. So no, it's really cool. So shout out to Austin Webb for the FXR Lit Kit Award from the Silver Valley MX Park Open AB All-Star. And if we're gonna go on the pro side for Lit Kit, I got to go with Henry Miller with his FXR kit on Saturday. Because his kit was good.
Yeah, his kit was set up nice.
Absolutely, especially on that Honda. So, yeah, no, thank you very much to West Virginia Motorsports and FXR for being on the Imperative MX podcast. And moving right into our next topic is going to be the local legend segment, and this one is for good measure. And if you do not know what a local legend is from the local North Carolina, Virginia, surrounding states area that we have either raced against or have been watching racing for a long time, and they are just balls fast. They can win at any time, or they have been winners. And just to the scene, there are local legends that are just their own local legend to the scene for their own good reason, and this is going to be a good one, because exactly what I'm talking about here, for a local legend in his own way, and actually really just a local motocross way, we're going to talk about Jed Dry. man, I've been racing him for a long time, and we're going to get into him just in a second. I got a lot about Jed Dry. So we're going to do him for the old generation local legend. And we do not have, on this week's episode, we do not have a local legend for the new generation, but we do have a local hero selection for this one. And that one is going to be Mason Thompson. And he races the...
he's 65, 711.
65, 711. So, we're going to talk about him as the local hero. So, let's get into Jed Dry, Heavy D. And you told me a very, very interesting fact, and I have known Jed for a very, very long time, ever since I first started racing. So, I would say maybe 2001, 2002 at the earliest, and at the latest 2003, 2004. But I've known Jed and his family for a very long time. And you told me a very interesting fact, Heavy D. And well, what was the interesting fact?
His real name is not Jed. I don't know if he wants people to know this, but his real name isn't even Jed.
What is it, Heavy D?
Irestus. Irestus.
Irestus.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't mean to laugh, but it's like, dude, he's Jed. So if anything, he's not anything else. And what is this? Like,
he'll tell you, he's like, dude, Jed's a made up name. That's not even my real name. And I've known Jed for years, dude. I mean, years, and never knew that. And then he told me, because I seen it on the announcer sheet, and I was like, what the heck? I was like, Irestus. He was like, yeah, that's my real name. Jed is my real name, bro. That's a made-up name.
Dude, he's had the made-up name since 2002.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable. Yes. Unbelievable. I've personally have been, like I said, I've been racing Jed for a long time. We were in the same class. Me and my father used to call him Jed Motormouth when we were younger because Jed had a mouth that would just run, and not in a bad way. He just loved to talk, and really to this day he still loves to talk, which is a good thing. And he's a local hero in himself. Everybody, he won the whip contest because he had the biggest crowd support there, and that's what it was. That's how it was judged off of. And he's got a huge backing from the local community because he's just a legend in his own.
Yeah, dude, he's a man of the people.
He's a man of the people, crazy in a good way. Loves moto, owns his own track, Black Ankle MX. I've been racing against him a long time. I honestly don't know what his top accolades are actually in racing, but that honestly doesn't even matter to me because he's a local legend just in his own. Because of his personality, I think that is why I have to give him the local legend is because of his personality. And yes, he's badass on a dirt bike too. But for me, it's the personality and the local motocross scene legend that Ernestus is has. So,
oh man, it's like the people love him like he gives back, dude. He truly loves like the local scene. He loves riding. I mean, he's just good for everybody, like the kids, everybody who's around. He's just trying to do it right. And I'm telling you, man, Black Ankle, that's going to be another track. It's going to kill it. Whoever gets that track in a series, it's a game changer.
Yeah, and I think that will happen. Myself and Jed actually talked this weekend, and I actually have to go down there to Black Ankle. I have not been down there yet. So if you are near the area of, I actually don't know what town it is, but make sure to check him out on social media or hit up Jed yourself. He will actually respond back to you. He's that type of guy. So, yeah. I don't really have anything else for Jed other than that he's a badass dirt bike racer. He's for the people. He loves the local motocross industry, and he's been around for a very, very long time. And he won the whip contest this past weekend, and now he's a proud owner of an AR-15 because of that. So he's a good pick, Heavy D, and glad that you came up with that one.
Oh yeah, man, it's sick. I love it. Just Jed Dry, son. The local legend.
Yeah, just Jed Dry, man. Motor Mouth. Arrestus. Yeah, and I think I butchered that a minute ago, but Arrestus. That is so.
I'm butchering too. I didn't know that too.
Yeah, no, you're good. That's just honestly unbelievable. It doesn't matter. He's still Jed to me. So, moving on into the local here, we have to talk about Mason Thompson. Like Heavy D said, 65 711 racer. I actually did not meet him until this weekend, and it was because Heavy D came to me and said that a kid wanted my jersey, and any time a kid wants my jersey, as long as I have one available and I still have riding gear, to wear for myself if I want to go ride, man, I'm going to give out a jersey, and that was honestly one of the coolest feelings. He wants it. Mason has a wall at the house, and he wants to put up pro jerseys. So he has one from Josh Thomas, actually off of his back from Red Bull Straight Rhythm, which I thought was really cool. And Josh Thomas was actually there this weekend at the racetrack watching at Silver Valley. So that was really cool to get down to bro down with JT 117. So that was cool. But Mason just has a wall, and he wants some local legends and some professional riders on his wall, and he wanted my jersey, Heavy D, and I honestly, I don't like to get emotional, but that was pretty cool, man.
Oh man, it was I'm not naming out any names or anything, but he wanted a high level guy's jersey, and the guy told him no. So, and he'd been listening to the podcast, so he's learning about all these local legends, and he's going to look them up, and he's like, man, forget this. I want a wall full of the guys that made it happen for other guys around here. So, and then he looked you up, and I told him my guy Zach was a dog back in the day. He still gets down, but he was an animal back in the day, and he seen it. He was like, his dad said, he's like, he wants his jersey, man. He's seen it. And he seen it, and I was like, all right. I was like, I'll go ask Zach, and of course, my man, the Mr. Imperative himself, came through and made the young kid's day.
Yeah, and Heavy D, I even said this while I was putting my signature on it. That was my favorite riding gear at that moment. So he got my favorite he got my favorite jersey. So, but no, for the kids, it was really cool, and it's honestly just one of those humbling feelings. Like, man, it's cool to see that I get recognized for my racing. Maybe it wasn't even for the Imperative MX, or maybe it was. But regardless of the fact, it was cool that somebody wanted my jersey to hang up on a wall, and they get to look at it every day and know that I guess that I'm a badass on a dirt bike or with this Imperative MX podcast. So no, it was really cool, and it was really humbling, and I had to throw the local hero for Mason Thompson, and apparently his dad is a hell of a cook. We didn't go and get food because I actually took you out to dinner, Heavy D. We went to Chili's. So,
dude, the loaded cabbage is next level. My guy can throw down.
Yeah, I got a next race that we're at that myself or both of us are at. I definitely got to go over there and get some good grub. And his family is good people. His dad came and talked to me before we left for the weekend for quite a while. So, no, really good people. If you see Mason out on the track, give him a high five. He's a really cool little kid, and glad to get a picture with him and all of that. So, no, it was really cool, and that wraps up the local legend segment with Jed Dry and the local hero Mason Thompson. So, no, good local legend segment this week. And before we move into our next topic of interest here on the Imperative MX podcast, we have to give a huge shout out to Hydropower. Hydropower is formulated by a sports nutritionist himself to help get rid of arm pump and increase your endurance so you can ride safer and faster. That's one of the things that we talk about a lot here on the Imperative MX podcast is riding safer and faster, and you can do that with the power of Hydropower. So go to drinkhydropower.com to get your brand new flavor, Blue Raz, that is out today. It is honestly phenomenal. Had some at the track while I was riding on Friday, and in the beginning I was very tight because of all the ruts and just a different track for me, and it's odd, and all of that good stuff. But there towards the end, I had hydropower all the way throughout the day. Endurance was good. I didn't have as bad as arm pump. Heavy D, you saw me. I was throwing down there at the last couple of practices and was actually having a good flow. So no, that was the help of the hydropower from not getting me so much arm pump and having enough endurance when I came off the track, even though it was really hot, really hot outside. I didn't feel like I was breathing as heavy. I felt like I could still go. I had a little bit more endurance in myself. I didn't have as bad of arm pump, so it was really good. And it was honestly phenomenal. The over 4.5 star reviews that they have on their website does not go unnoticed, so make sure to just go to their website or check them out on social media. That's drinkhydropower.com, or find them on social media, Drink Hydropower. We also have to give a huge shout out to Dirt Industries Custom Graphics from Rayford, North Carolina. Dirt Industries Custom Graphics have over 10 years have been designing, manufacturing, and marketing the highest quality dirt bike graphics and decals to the motocross and consumer markets. Their high quality decals are considered by many to be the best in the industry. If you would like to get your graphics looking top notch, go no further than Dirt Industry Custom Graphics. So make sure to go and check them out. That's Dirt Industries graphics.com, and if you use the promo code all capitalized Imperative MX with no space, you will save 10% on your next order through Dirt Industries Custom Graphics. So make sure to go and check them out. We had the banners displayed this weekend, Heavy D, and they look good. They weren't big, but they look good. And it was honestly phenomenal. We have a lot of works going in right now with the people over at Dirt Industries Custom Graphics, and thank you for their continuing support and for coming on board of the Imperative MX podcast.
And they got some fresh new material that just hit. That's it's sick.
So yeah, so make sure
you're gonna want to get it.
Oh yeah, make sure you go and check them out on social media. Check them out on their Facebook, Instagram. Give them a call if you need anything for your dirt bike. Check out all the graphics that they have. They have so many different. I was looking up some for my Suzuki that we plan on getting here in the future, and they have 7, I want to say, different looks for the Suzuki that you could get. So make sure to give them a call or check them out on social media. Go to their website and support the ones that support us. So, but next we're going to get into some local racing here on the Imperative MX podcast. Coming up this weekend, we have East Bend that is racing. I do not know of any other tracks that are racing this weekend, Heavy D, but I got East Bend on the list. Do you have any others?
Honestly, I think it is just East Bend. The Carolina Outlaw Series just wrapped up their last series race of the year.
Yep.
NCMX just wrapped up the last one at Silver Valley.
Yep.
I think they got the Southeast Winter Series coming up.
South of the border, the South Carolina State Championship this weekend. I forgot about that.
Okay, so the border, of course, the South Carolina State Championship, always on point out there.
Absolutely. I went there in 2019. Was the last time that I went, and I was on my Blue Crew. I was on my Yamaha at the time, and no, I love the track. I have not been there in years before that, so it was really cool. The track is phenomenal. South of the border, what can't expect anything more than what is going on down there at the border. So East Bend, south of the border, and also Dreamville MX, December 3rd and 4th is going to be the Noah Shipwash Memorial Race. There is going to be a $3,100 pro purse and more. So make sure that if you guys are looking to race December 3rd through the 4th, Dreamville MX, the Noah Shipwash Memorial Race, and it'll be really good for the family and everybody in the local community that Really appreciated having Noah around, and really miss Noah.
Oh yeah, man, Noah was awesome. Yeah, this passing was definitely tragic.
Yeah, for
That
sure.
that race is gonna be awesome. So many supporters, so many friends, everybody loves Noah. So if you hadn't made plans on going there, you definitely gonna.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely make your way on up there. So, and moving into our final topic of this episode number 5 of the Imperative MX podcast. And if you have stuck around this long, we appreciate it very, very much. And thank you guys for your continuing support. Like I said, we're at 23,000 on TikTok. We are, I think, maybe 85 away from 1,000 on Instagram. Which is honestly phenomenal. We're over 1,000 on Facebook. The photo gallery has been doing really well on the imperativemx.com website. So make sure to check us out on social media if you haven't already. And thank you guys for all of the continuing support. The YouTube channel is, I believe, at 93 or 94 subscribers, almost at 100. We have a video that just came out this week from the Silver Valley MX Park, raw footage, so make sure to go and check that out if you have not already. And like I say over and over again, thank you guys so much for all of the support. Get into some professional Supercross talk here, Heavy D. Paris Supercross this weekend. We're going to have Tomac, Roxon, Webb, Brayton, Marvin, Subi. There's going to be a lot of good guys this weekend, and I saw some photos of the racetrack and the whoops and kind of in the environment, so it looks like it's going to be a good race, Heavy D.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. I hope Freeze is there.
Freeze is not there.
I'm just messing, but yeah, I think he just got engaged, so he's chilling out from all the madness right now. But
yeah,
it's definitely going to be sweet. I think is Kenny racing the Yamaha? What's he racing?
Kenny is going to be on a Honda, and believe it or not, Ken is riding a HEP Suzuki this week.
Whoa!
Yep, I heard it on the Pulp MX show. I believe a couple days ago. I think Tuesday. But yeah, no, Roxon's gonna ride a HEP Suzuki.
Yeah, like I say, I figured. I mean, I'm still rolling with the whole Club MX deal, but if anything, I could see that working just because he's ridden Suzuki before, and the whole Twisted T ordeal, sort of, kinda.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. We'll just have to, I guess, just kind of have to wait and see what actually goes down with Ken Roxon as far as what he is going to ride in 2023, which has to be the hottest topic going into the 2023 Monster Energy AMA Supercross season, and really just the Super Motocross for 2023. But on this list, you got Tomac, Roxon, Webb, Brayton, Marvin, Cedric, Subi is really, really good at these Paris Supercrosses from the previous years, so I expect him to kind of be maybe an underdog going into this race. You have Marvin that just came off of his Red Bull Straight Rhythm win. We have Brayton, who we know is very, very good at these type arena cross track, supercross track type things, or type races. Webb, is he ready to go for 2023? We'll get a little bit of preview of that this weekend. And obviously Roxon and Tomac. Anybody stand out to you on that list? Heavy D?
Oh yeah. I'm going to say I think Coop's going to come out swinging regardless. But I mean, I think he had a reset this off season, so he's going to be good to go. But I mean, don't get me wrong, Tomac's still on a whole nother level at the moment. But I think also Roxon's going to be hard to deal with because he's did a bit more racing than these guys have here recently.
Yep.
So I think he's going to be in a bit more of a race form than Tomac and Coop would be at the moment. But I think it's going to be badass regardless.
Yeah, no, it is. It's going to be good. I do not know the viewing schedule. I guess I could probably look that up as we're talking about it. But no, it's going to be really good. These races are normally pretty good throughout. So you can tune in to mxgp-tv.com for both days to watch the live action. So if you want to, you can go and subscribe to mxgp-tv.com to watch the racing action. And it's going to be the 12th at 2 p.m. And the 13th at 10 a.m. Will be the live, I guess, racing action from what I see here on RacerX. So, yeah, Cooper Webb, Eli Tomac, Justin Brayton, Marvin Muscan, Kevin Morans, Alex Ray, Cedric Supercross, Ken Roxon. They have a MX2, the 250cc class category, and the only person that I know of and have ever heard of is Thomas Doe. That is the only person that I know in that 250 class, but there are some wild cards for the SX2 class. You'll have Justin Starling, Chris Blows, Cullen Park, Matt Moss. Yeah, so that SX2 class is probably going to be pretty good. We know Chris Blows is really good at that arena cross type stuff. Matt Moss is obviously pretty good, but he hasn't been racing in a couple years. Cullen Park got the call to go. I saw that on his Instagram the other day, so that's really cool. And Justin Starling as well. I think Paris is going to be really good. My underrated rider is Supercross. I think that he's always really good at these Paris, Germany Supercrosses. So I think I'm going to keep my eye out on Subi there, Heavy D.
Oh, dude, that's Tom Supercross, isn't it? I think his name is
Cedric.
Cedric Supercross.
Yeah.
Yeah, he usually kills it, especially in MXGP.
Yeah, no, I think he got third last year in Paris. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he got third last year at this event. But like I said, I could be wrong, but I know for sure he's gotten a podium at one of these before. So he's really good, and that should be really good. So make sure to tune in to mxgp-tv.com November 12th at 2 p.m. and November 13th at 10 a.m. for all of the live racing action. So the actual last talking point that we're going to have is answer some of the questions from you people out there in the world for the Imperative MX podcast. We put out a post a couple days before we actually run the podcast and ask you guys as fans and supporters for some questions. So we do have a couple. So David Lambeth 16.
Lambeth, yeah.
Yep, Lambeth says, let's hear Heavy D talk about seeing me in the bike 30 feet in the air. We did kind of get into that a little bit, but you can run with that one if you would like.
I wasn't David, so I know I could only imagine how he felt. But when he said, dude, all I seen was sky ground, I was like, you was flipping that much. But if you would have seen how high you were in the air, you probably would have sold that dirt bike if you had seen it in person.
Oh, man, that had to be just a hell of a, just what in the world is going on? Like, especially one rider and then the other rider. Like,
every time I get close to wanting to ride dirt bikes again, something drastic.
He said something just has to happen. Just something has to happen, and maybe that's why we love this sport so much, is because there's just so much, maybe not drama, but there's just so much that happens in one weekend that you could talk about just for months, right? Like, as we go on to this podcast, I'm like, man, I probably missed some stuff to talk about from Silver Valley because of all the funny moments or, whatever, but there was just so much that you really can't even just pick out just one because everything was just so good,
Oh, yeah. It's so much. And like I said, I know I say that makes me not want to ride. But I just mean that in a like, all right, these dudes are gnarly kind of way, and my mindset is not there. But at the same time, like it is undescribable. Like the video, it looks high, like you can see it, but the video does it no justice. Like I don't think any video did that track any kind of justice the whole weekend.
Or any pictures. Like I look back on some of the pictures that I took of some of these faces of the jumps, and I'm like, dude, this it doesn't compare to when you are standing literally at the bottom of one of these jumps and you're looking up, and it's like 3 stories high. It's ridiculous.
I love building them too. I love it. Like God, just the feeling of being in the dozer and looking behind you. And it's like, all right, this thing flips backwards, it's game over.
Oh, hold on. We have to. Here's another thing that I forgot to talk about. Heavy D had a bulldozer this weekend, or a dozer this weekend, that had a Bluetooth system in it. Oh, boy.
Oh, if it's Bluetooth, it's game over. I'm in my zone, son. I'm finding the groove.
Oh, yeah. R.I.P. Dolph, but I heard some Dolph in there. I heard some other stuff from halfway across the track on Thursday when it was just, pretty much me and you out there on the track along with, some other people working on the track. But, yeah, I could hear you halfway across the, rhythm sections, you bumping some of that music in that dozer, and you were in the zone, that is for sure.
Oh, it was some Dolph, it was some Offset. Full Migos, Morgan Whalen, Luke Combs, Florida Georgia Line, Hardy mixtape, Hicks tapes. Oh, dude, it was all kind of stuff going on.
It was anything and everything that was going on inside of that dozer while he's building one of the gnarliest tracks out on the East Coast. Awesome to see. Bro. Yep, and we have another comment or another question from Cranky Cole Crawford, asking update on the kid that got the brake pedal in the leg. And no, it was not the leg.
It was the ass.
It was the ass. He got the brake pedal in the butt.
It's pictures of it on Facebook. I got pictures of it.
Oh, no way.
I meant to tell you that.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
and no. I ended up knowing the kid Nicky Bent, and he's fine.
He's good.
Yeah, he's good.
Everybody that we talked to about the situation, or that came up and talked to us about the situation, said that he was fine throughout the entire thing. It was just uncomfortable when you have a back brake pedal in your ass. So I can understand that probably not being the best thing in the world to go through.
No, he was sitting there calm, but dude, they got it's pictures of when they actually the brake pedal was out, and when it was in, he was laying there on the bike. Like Thad is the one that took it off. I was like, dude, how'd you get that off? He was like, man, I tell you, it was tight. I said, I bet you it was.
Yeah, they had to actually get the brake pedal off of the motorcycle, and he had to go to the hospital with the brake pedal still in his ass.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable. But yeah, no, he's fine. Like Heavy D said, there's some pictures out on Facebook. But yeah, that is unbelievable. And no, apparently he's fine, Cole. So yeah, no, that was good. Thank you guys for that, for those Imperative MX Instagram comments or questions. And now we have one from Zach Thompson on the Facebook of Imperative MX asking what was both of your highlight of the weekend. Heavy D, I'll go you first if you got a highlight of the weekend.
Okay, my highlight of the weekend, of course, seeing the 50 kids and stuff, but Kilroy and Rod Bell battling, and how hard Rod Bell was nailing those ruts on the 2-stroke.
Yeah, that the battle. I think it was in the first 250. 250. Yeah, first 250 moto, and I actually have the raw footage. You can hear the crowd and everything when Rod Bell finally passes Kilroy, but honestly, probably one of my favorite or my highlight of the weekend was probably honestly just talking to some of the pros and also just to people in the community, meeting everybody and everybody enjoying the MX or the Imperative MX podcast and what myself and Heavy D are doing for the local motocross community and sponsors and all of this good stuff. Like, it was just really, really cool and humbling. I got to talk on the mic a little bit with Zach on Saturday about the Imperative MX podcast, and honestly, all of those things wrapped into one probably has to be my favorite highlight, or my highlight of the weekend. Not racing, or not even really watching the pro racing, but when somebody comes up to me and appreciates the work that myself and you put in for the Imperative MX podcast, or says something good about my riding or anything like that, man, that's more of a highlight for me than actually, maybe even doing the work in itself, and and I can see the progress, right? Like, and no, it's so cool. Like Mason, like that's why I wanted to have Mason as the local hero, because dude, that got me in my feels for no reason,
No, that was a highlight. I get what you're saying. Like, I don't think I looked into it that deep, but now that you put it that way, I think, okay, let me say this a highlight. People, because I don't think even, like, don't get me wrong, I feel like I get a lot of credit, which I do, not trying to toot my own horn or anything, but like, my work, to me, it's a walk in the park compared to what the other guys do. The ones that are out there watering and dragging hoses around, those dudes are the true MVPs, because, dude, without what they do, the track would not get as gnarly as it does. Like, it takes a tremendous amount of moisture and knowing what you're doing to get a track that way. And seeing people actually walk up to those guys and tell them, hey, congratulations, you have the gnarliest track around, even more gnarlier than the Loretta's, if not the same. To me, that's a highlight. Like, seeing those guys get the credit that they deserve, that's a highlight.
Yeah, for sure. And both points, very, very valid from your point and my point. No, it's honestly just really cool, and we love this shit, and we love motocross, dirt bikes. We love all of this stuff, and that's what we're here for on the Imperative MX podcast, and we are glad that each one of you that are listening is along for the process. And yeah, no, we thank you guys so much for sending in and submitting your questions, and yeah, look out for the next ones for next week's episode. So make sure you send in a question if you have one for myself or Heavy D here on the Imperative MX podcast. And yeah, Heavy D, that's gonna wrap it up for this week's episode number 5. I can't believe we're 5 episodes in already, and we have so much more that's gonna be coming in the future. We're gonna hopefully in the near future, we're gonna have a way for people to phone in and call in, maybe be live on YouTube so you can watch from home. Also, just interviews with riders and that sort of thing. We have so much more that's going to be coming on YouTube. Also, make sure you check us out on Spotify, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all of that stuff. There's going to be so much stuff that's going to be coming out here in the near future, and I am super excited. Heavy D's super excited, and no, it is going to be really good. Have to thank West Virginia Motorsports once again. If you need anything for your dirt bike, ATV, UTV, whatever the case may be, find your key to fun at West Virginia Motorsports. Also have to give a huge shout out to Silver Valley MX Park. Heavy D, like we've talked about all night, it was a phenomenal event. I got to thank them and Camille and really just the whole facility and themselves for allowing me to come down there, and pretty much privileged to kind of do what I would like as far as content-wise and going around on my pit bike since the track was pretty long and all of that good stuff. And me, myself and Heavy D, we walked all the way down there during the last Open Pro Moto because we wanted to check how gnarly the track was, and man, it was honestly awesome. And I have to thank Silver Valley MX Park for all that they did this weekend and all that they've done for us and Imperative MX. Also, hydropower. Get rid of that arm pump, increase your endurance, make yourself a safer and faster rider with hydropower. So go to drinkhydropower.com, get your Blue Raz today, get you some apparel. Dirt Industry Custom Graphics, you need banners, you need decals, you need graphics, you need anything like that, go to dirtindustriesgraphics.com. That is Dirt Industries Custom Graphics from Rayford, North Carolina. And also have to give a huge shout out to FXR. Lit Kit Award for this week was Austin Webb. And high performance snow rider wear to motocross wear, anything that you need, FXR. You know them. They've been in the game. They're all around the local motocross scene, all the way up to the top professionals that will actually be racing in the 2022 Paris Supercross this weekend. So, thank you so much to those sponsors. Thank you for you people watching and listening at home, in your car, wherever you may be at. Thank you guys so very much. Heavy D, you got anything else for the Imperative MX podcast, episode number 5 here?
Oh, dude, just thank everybody for listening. It's important. We definitely hope to see more and more people out. Like, it's been awesome. Dude, the adventure has been awesome so far. It's only going to go up from here. And me personally, I know you as well. I mean, we can't thank everybody enough. I mean, it's been sick. So, hey, thank you guys for supporting Imperative.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said over and over again, check out the social medias, be up to date, check our YouTube channel, make sure to subscribe, like the videos, and also, too, make sure that if you guys have any questions, any concerns, anything at all, if you are a track promoter or a track owner and want to get your track out there, if you have a race that's coming up, make sure for anything, questions, comments, concerns, whatever the case may be, to make this Imperative MX podcast better, make sure to reach us at imperativemx@gmail.com for anything regarding Imperative MX and yourself, or just anything that you have. Send us an email, reach out to us on social media, and that's a wrap on episode number 5 here. Silver Valley MX Park was awesome. Local legend, Jed Dry, Mason Thompson, the only Jed Dry. That's still unbelievable with his first name not being Jed, but Irestis. That still honestly is just mind-boggling to me. But regardless of the fact, Paris Supercross, local racing schedules, the Dreamville MX, Noah Shipwash Memorial Race, December 3rd through the 4th. So there's a lot going on. We'll see you guys next week. And, thank you guys so much for watching. Heavy D?
Hey, we're out, and we'll see you next year at the only local national at Silver Valley.
The only local national.